You get on the doorstep of Week 18, and it feels like there's more losers than winners. We still weigh both sides here on HQ. Joe Musso, Bryant McFadden to talk winners and losers. Mac, you know, we start in the positive. Your biggest winner, Week 17, is who?
Joe, it feels like every week I'm doing a Skol chant.
He still doesn't have the horn right.
My biggest winner from this weekend slate of games is the Minnesota Vikings, and here's why. You had a home affair against a divisional foe in the Green Bay Packers. Guess what? You're playing against a very, very talented team, playoff caliber team. You need to win, because if you win next week, all the marbles, they're in the middle of the table. Ooh, I used to love the camouflage marbles when I was a kid growing up. I used to really love collecting those. But guess what? Those will be in the middle of the table against the Detroit Lions, because if you win next week, everything in the playoffs in the NFC will have to come through Skol Nation. And you will have a first-round bye, which means you have an automatic seat into the second round in the playoffs. So all you have to do is go 2-0 in the playoffs to get to New Orleans, the 504. New Orleans, where the Super Bowl will be played. And think about this. They're doing all of this without their best offensive lineman in Christian Darrisaw, without their supposedly QB1 in J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold is the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold actually has an opportunity to get the #1, to earn the #1 seed in the NFC and have a first-round bye.
Crazy.
Week 1. Think about that. 2 years ago, Sam Darnold was getting benched by the Carolina Panthers because he wasn't good enough to be their starting quarterback. Now, when you look at what we've seen from Sam Darnold, being in this position, this has been a magical year for the Minnesota Vikings. So because of what they did today, everything that I just gave you in terms of information is now still a reality, because if they went out next week, #1 seed, first round bye, all the marbles they will have.
I will point out this. 2 years ago in Carolina, that was both Darnold and Baker Mayfield, both of which could be in the NFC playoffs. Situation does matter, folks. I do want to follow up shortly here, because we've talked a lot about how in the AFC, Kansas City could use that bye, get the bodies right. 9-game winning streak. If they win and it's the 1 seed, that's 10. Do you want the bye if you're Minnesota? You always take a week off, but that momentum to stop it that way, does that worry you at all?
Yeah, you know, I've had the opportunity of getting to the Super Bowl doing it either or, playing in every ball game or having the first round bye. I think for Minnesota, the first round bye is needed in terms of rest, but not just from the physical, the mental hurdles they've been dealing with week in and week out, to be able to be in a position of winning 9 games. And then, of course, if you get the first round bye, you've won 10 games going into the playoffs. That's a lot to endure in terms of the fatigue above the shoulder. And just being able to come down a little bit, relax, watch a full weekend of football, and get back, recalibrate your batteries and things like that could be a big-time important factor for them in having a significant playoff run.
It's like us, feet up watching football, but with 10 wins in a row, maybe you want those feet on the ground playing some football.
Better believe it.
You know, Mac, every time I ask you for a loser, I feel like I got a duck, like the rotten tomatoes going to come from over the camera. Someone's got to lose.
You better believe it.
It's pretty obvious this week.
It is. It's pretty obvious. And for me, my biggest loser is a team that actually won. It's the New York Giants. And hear me out. The reason why the New York Giants, they're my biggest loser, is because they came in today's matchup not only being an 8-point underdog, depending on where you're shopping. They've been bad over the last few weeks. They came into this game against the Colts having the #1 spot in the 2025 draft. And for Giants fans that say, hey, nobody cares about the #1 spot, we don't care about either quarterback potentially that could be the top pick in the draft in Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. #1, that's a lie. But #2, for you guys that are saying that, let me bring you to the reality side of things. When you have the #1 spot, it's like having the best piece on the Monopoly board. Everyone you're playing with, they want it. They want to have what you have. So even if you felt like we don't necessarily need to use the #1 pick on a quarterback, which is a lie, you potentially could trade out and get more picks, more resources to improve your team. But because you came out and did the unthinkable, and you actually won a ball game and did so in convincing fashion, you dropped from having the top spot in the NFL draft to being currently 4th.
So you're saying they passed go and collected a win, and that was the worst thing because now they can't get boardwalk?
Yeah, well, actually, they passed go, collected a win, and didn't even collect the $200. That's not a win in Monopoly when you pass go. So that's why they're the biggest loser, because for Giants fan, at this point in the season, when you're at week 17 and your team hasn't won a ball game in weeks when you want them to win, and then all of a sudden you want them to lose because you know the draft is heavily involved, they can't lose for you. So for Giants fans, you can't win and you can't lose. It's just been a very, very bad season for Giants fans. And shouts out to all the fans that attended this ball game and actually saw this in person, because usually we see a lot of Giants fans with paper bags over their head because they know we're probably going to lose. But those fans came in today's game not having the paper bags, so you're like, know what? We're probably going to lose, but we actually want to lose because the season is over. The Giants fans, they have so much heartache, pain, indigestion, all of the above. And right now, you should probably take a shot because you need it.
Can't have nice things is what this feels like for Giants fans right now, who are sort of stuck in that football purgatory. And much as it did with the Raiders win, the Giants win doesn't just drop you one spot. It drops you to number 4. Following the Browns win in the evening window, they fall even further. 3-4 now, the Giants in that slog at 3-13. Now, plenty of things can happen in Week 18, but the Raiders with 2 wins, more than expected since that long losing streak, drop all the way to 8. It's the Pats, the Titans, the Browns, and then the New York Football Giants. Let's get back in the good graces. Time for a game ball, time for That's My Guy. We highlight one player that we can't take our eyes off of here in Week 17. Mac, your guy is who?
My guy is Brock Bowers. Unbelievable season for a rookie tight end in the National Football League. And here's why Brock Bowers is my guy. Let me give you guys some key stats that have been associated with Mr. Bowers the entire season. He broke Mike Ditka's record, rookie record, for tight end receiving yards, right? A record that has been in place since 1961. We're currently in 2024. No other rookie tight end has been able to do what he did today. Shouts out to the great Mike Ditka. Not only that, he broke Puka Nakua's NFL rookie receiving record that he set a year ago. Not only that, he broke Darren Waller's Raiders all-time single-season reception record for the organization, and he still has one more game left to be played. And the most impressive thing about Brock Bowers in terms of what he did this season in this record-breaking year, he did so receiving passes from Desmond Ridder, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and Joe Musso.
1 for 1.
Shouts out to Joe Musso. I didn't know he can throw an out route, but apparently he can, because Brock Bowers catches everything. And I'll say this, I'll go one step further. I believe Brock Bowers probably should have a legit shot in getting the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, because what he's done in a year where they traded away their best playmaker in Davante Adams, when all the attention was going to him by the end of October, he still delivered big-time goods for an organization that has been very, very bad this season. And it's hard for you to be really, really good on a bad team because all the attention usually goes to you. Not to mention the quarterback position has been in a flux the entire season. That tells you how great Brock Bowers should be. He's been.
A season to be celebrated for Brock Bowers as he takes those 3 record marks. You didn't know. 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns in my collegiate career.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Check the NCAA record books. Most proficient passer in the history of
100%.
The NCAA. 100%. Which takes us to our guy, because when your number's called on, you make the play. My guy, Cam Akers this week. And he's not really the one to be sung, not the hero in this game. He was in the biggest moments. 2 catches, 1 for a touchdown, 1 to salt this game away. Akers hasn't had a reception in over a month. Hasn't even been targeted, Mac, in over a month. 6 receptions this season as a Minnesota Viking. His number was called due to a leg contusion on Cam Akers. He answered the call. He salts the game away on a catch of a ball that we see every running back in this league drop. That is not an easy ball to catch. When they don't call your number, and then they finally do, you got to make a play. That type of guy is always going to be my type of guy. Cam Akers, game ball, and a tip of the cap from me. That's going to do it for That's My Guy. And you know there's always plenty more coming on CBS Sports HQ. Everything you need, nothing you don't. News, highlights, scores, and more. This league you love, we cover you from kick to confetti. Super Bowl's not far off. Keep it locked on CBS Sports HQ.